Individually, first from Yale University, the new beginning, Dr. Daniel C. Rockingham. And his partner, from Truth or Consequences, New Mexico, he is the Gavel, David Lawless, Esquire.
Gentlemen, I hate to sound too impartial, but this tag team of hashtag privilege, I'm also going to give the name to the most insufferable tag team that we've ever seen in here in Rise. Because Lawless is a jerk and Dr. Dan's a charlatan.
Myself and David Lawless have not called ourselves privileged to demean anyone. Because everyone is privileged in our radiance. You see, the smartest man in professional wrestling and myself, the most motivational man in professional wrestling, are here to privilege you all with a new beginning. So David will not call you morons, but instead we will call you believers in change.
Look at this.
So main event,
This man may be a believer.
your undefeated streak is at an end. So come on out here, and we will show you exactly right. The keys to success is something that will be pounded into your heads here tonight.
Now, there's two things in life I hate, and that's a snake oil salesman, and when you've been divorced as many times as I have, an attorney.
They are the best tag team in independent professional Pittsburgh wrestling today. They are the odds-on favorite, and they are quite possibly the next Rise Tag Team Champions. They are the main event.
And their tag team opponents, and they total combined 525 pounds.
You got it, big man.
The main event, individually, from the Florida Keys, Pro Wrestling All-Star, Ganon Jones Jr. And his partner, from Norfolk, Virginia, the meta-human, Duke Davis.
They are the perfect combination of size, speed, agility, and power. There are no flaws in the game of the main event. If you built top-tier athletes from the ground up, you have Duke Davis and Ganon Jones Jr. And I'll say it again, they are the best tag team in Pittsburgh professional wrestling today. But the question here is, will they put themselves in the history books as the first Rise Tag Champions?
No, they are definitely the odds-on favorite tonight to go on and win the Rise Tag Team Championships. Let's face it, undefeated for over 2 years in Rise Wrestling.
Jim Amata, Paul Atlas, Red Watson here to call it for you. And gentlemen, as we've said, the main event, by the numbers, they have to be favored because they've never been defeated here in the Stronghold. However, that puts the biggest target on the main event as well, because if one of these teams can eliminate the main event, they completely change the complexion of not only the tournament, but the entire Rise promotion. Now, Red, I believe you had a chance to talk to Rockingham and Lawless, which my condolences for that. What was the strategy? What was the mindset, of hashtag privilege coming into this matchup against such vaunted challengers?
The mindset of privilege is obviously to take out the main event. As you said, main event undefeated for 2 years. Privilege, of course, the team of Lawless and Rockingham. These two extremely cunning, and they told me they have something up their sleeve for every trick that the main event could possibly throw at them.
And Rockingham may not be wearing sleeves, but we've seen him produce several of those pamphlets using his self-help system to inflict paper cuts on his opponents, which is downright nasty. And I don't think a test of strength is the direction that Rockingham wants to go against Duke Davis.
Let's put it, the meta-human Duke Davis. All-star athlete, football player in college, alumni of Robert Morris University. And Jim, you know I have deep ties to RMU. This man is one powerful athlete.
If I'm remembering correctly, there are generations of Atlases that have ties to RMU.
I'm gonna come over here so I'm not blocking the camera.
Listen, we've said it a number of times. Lawless is as pleasant as chicken pox, but he can get it done inside those ring ropes. Will he get it done in a tag team situation against the main event? Is a completely different equation. In fact, Paul, you know, we've talked about the fact that you've held national tag champions when you and Brian Anthony were NWA North American tag champions. What do you do with a tag team like the main event? If you're hashtag privilege, how do you approach this matchup when you're in a tournament format and the heavy favorites coming into a matchup are undefeated? How do you approach that when you have an undefeated tag team? What's the strategy?
You know, first of all, you've got to have, and these two guys definitely don't lack in the confidence department. But, you know, as member of the Wrong Crowd, as NWA North American Tag Team Champions, as NWA Individual Regional Tag Team Champions, we were undefeated for 18 months. Now, the main event has been undefeated for longer than that here in Rise Wrestling. And each and every night you've got to bring your A game, because whoever's facing you is going to bring their A game, because if you can chop down the men at the top of that mountain and get to that mountaintop yourself, you now become the favorite son.
Absolutely, and if hashtag privilege are able to defeat the main event here, you know it's going to send shockwaves throughout the Pittsburgh wrestling world.
Oh, without a doubt.
And man, Rockingham took a big right hand in the face. Lawless trying to take advantage of that momentary pause. But what an athlete Duke Davis is.
And you know, David Lawless is not a small man by any means, and Duke Davis just scooped him up like nothing. And there he is, look at that toss. He just made that look easy. This man is incredibly powerful. You know, I might be the old Muppet in the balcony, but I do know how to use social media. You go out on Duke Davis's Instagram and you will see this guy working out daily. This man is a machine.
Tag here from the main event. And we know tandem offense is really their trademark. So smooth is the dynamic offense of the main event.
And getting a little workout in between beating some people up. Gotta love that. Always staying in shape, the main event.
Lawless forced to extricate himself there. But the resourcefulness of David Lawless cannot be understated. I mean, Paul, we saw it just 2 weeks ago at Uprise, which of course you can watch exclusively through the Indie Wrestling Network. It was Lawless that had a barn burner contest against Zach Vincent. So we know that Lawless can go bell to bell. And this is what I'm talking about with that pamphlet, but
Duke Davis got, Ganon Jones got those gloves on, so I don't think it worked out too well.
What an exploder suplex. Again, the athletic ability and power. That combination is nearly bulletproof inside the squared circle.
Oh, it is. And, you know, I talked about the strength and power of Duke Davis, but Ganon Jones is no slouch himself in that department. There we go with the handoff suplex.
And they're just making Rockingham dizzy at this point. Look at how much ease, how calm and calculated Duke Davis is inside the squared circle.
Not much flusters this man.
That could be another aspect of this tournament, Paul. The emotional side of professional wrestling. How do you keep your cool when you know there are literally historic stakes on the line?
You have to.
Oh, look out!
Whoa, the big man flies.
As I said, the perfect combination of speed, power, and agility. A man 6'6", 6'7", just gliding through the air.
Oh.
And wait a minute, did Lawless have that oak gavel?
Without a doubt. You know, as much as I hate to admit it, you know, we talk about the power of the main event, but these two, that being the gavel and Rockingham privilege, whatever they want to call themselves, these guys are mentally sound, even though they may not have the physical prowess of the main event. You know, and the main event aren't dummies, don't get me wrong, but I think these two guys, they may have the upper hand in the devious department.
Red, are you surprised at this turnabout here that Lawless, by hook or by crook, has been able to bend the rules in his favor? And we have the main event. They're in some jeopardy here. I don't think any of us could have expected that coming into this tournament.
Well, it was like the team of #Privilege told me. They said they had a plan, and so far it seems like they're executing it flawlessly.
Well, like I said, these guys are no dummies. I'm sure they have something together. Believe it or not, and I hate to say this, if there's a team in this tournament that could possibly derail the main event, it could be #Privilege.
You know, just when I thought I couldn't dislike the personality of beautiful flying back elbow, and that's what I'm talking about. As much as Lawless is completely insufferable, he's an insufferable jerk, he gets it done inside the ring ropes. And as I was saying, as much as I dislike the guy's personality, when I thought I couldn't dislike him anymore, he hooks up with Rockingham, and I find a way to dislike him even more.
And I'm sure he's billing somebody for this time.
Ganon trying to use his power, use those long arms, and that's what I'm saying, the resourcefulness of Privilege here. It took Dr. Dan grabbing onto the hair to prevent a tag, but at the end of the day, Ganon Jones is now in the wrong part of the corner, so hey, it wasn't fair, it wasn't within the rules, but it worked.
And you know, you talked about the emotional aspect. I think this is where Lawless and Rockingham may have the advantage over everyone else in this tournament. We talk about System Elite being the longest tenured tag team, but there's a lot of emotion when it comes to the main event and System Elite. You know, there's not a lot of emotion here with Lawless and Rockingham, and that could, again, give them the upper hand to be the ones to maybe end the undefeated streak of the main event.
To your point, you're seeing the emotion spill over here. Duke Davis obviously very upset that his close friend and tag partner Ganon Jones is getting mugged by Privilege here.
And then you got the riverboat gambler David Lawless, calm, cool, and collected. I've never actually seen the man in a courtroom, but I'm sure he made some jury skin crawl.
And you can see Rockingham trying to wrench, twist. You know, Rockingham wouldn't feel bad or hesitate at all if he could dislocate that shoulder.
Oh, he talks about wanting to change people's lives. I think what he wants to do is end somebody's life.
And Rockingham going back to that pamphlet, trying to cut between the webbing of the fingers. That is disgusting. I don't know if Josh Main
is losing his mind out there.
Josh Main, I don't know if he's going to be able to restrain Duke Davis.
I would not want to face an angry metahuman, that's for sure.
Rockingham turned his back. But again, you're seeing, look at the positioning. The tactful nature of Privilege here. The positioning where they can isolate Ganon Jones. That's no accident. That is
what we're seeing here is calm, cool, and collective reasoning and thought from Privilege right now.
Everything that this combination of Lawless and Rockingham is done with malice and intent. They know exactly what they're doing. There are no coincidences. And what a vertical leap.
None of this is done by accident.
10 minutes gone, 10 minutes.
You know, I can't stand Lawless so much. The guy gives me hives. But again, when you have a vertical leap like that you can put on a man that tall, the athletic ability is undeniable. And again, elementary tag wrestling, keeping your opponent in the corner. And Rockingham just hurling his body at Ganon Jones.
You know, we've talked all night about teams that have not teamed together on a regular basis, and that is the team of privilege. They are not a regular tag team. But these guys...
They must have been training together.
Sure, like I said, but they're working like a well-oiled machine right now.
You know, this was one of the most anticipated matchups on the card here tonight because it could really determine the direction of the entire tournament, which of course we're going to see the second round the next time we're in this building on March 2nd.
Oh, I'm calling it.
Oh, look out! Ganon takes out everybody. Paul, continue. I'm sorry.
I'm calling it right now. I will tell you right now, in my mind, the winner of this match, without a doubt, is going to be in the finals of this tournament. Ganon's trying to get himself together and get over to Duke Davis. And if he makes this tag, the roof is coming off this place.
Clearly, this Lamont Furnace crowd at the Stronghold behind the main event.
He got it.
In comes Duke Davis. The complexion of this contest is changing before our eyes, gentlemen. Lawless ducks the clothesline, but he gets caught. Look at the effortless power.
Big fall-away slam by Duke Davis.
Transitions to a cover here. Lawless able to kick out. And gentlemen, as hard-fought as this matchup is becoming, the winners of this contest will advance to face the Grindhouse on March 2nd. That certainly is not something to look forward to. Oh, man!
Beautifully executed.
Unbelievable. What impact. Lawless got his body hurled and he was planted to the canvas.
And that's Charlatan breaking it up at the last second. And he may be thinking twice about it. Oh, low bridge there.
Again, the tactful nature of Dr. Dan. But he got caught, snatched by the throat. Dr. Dan plants two boots right in the mush of Duke Davis. Ganon's got Dr. Dan. Look out here.
One outside in.
Final cut plants Dr. Dan.
Let's go!
Pivotal point in this contest.
And there comes Lawless trying to set him up for that pump handle slam.
Into the backbreaker, the lumbar region down across the knees. The metahuman power personified, and Dr. Dan saves it. Red, correct me if I'm wrong. That matchup would have been over.
For my money, it should have been over right there. But Daniel C. Rockingham saving the matchup for privilege.
And this is what I've said before. This could actually be the team that derails the main event tonight. The main event has thrown everything they have at these two guys, and they still are in this battle.
Now you talked about emotion in this.
Oh, look out! Lawless intercepts Ganon. Dr. Dan boxes the ears. Wait a minute, Lawless, he hits the crossroads. Paul, you could be right. The main event could be out of here.
And Duke Davis, I don't know where he dug down, but he got out of that, and that is incredible.
Gentlemen, you want to talk about Daniel C. Rockingham and David Lawless. Let's be honest here. We have rarely ever seen the main event in this much jeopardy.
No, even if they don't walk away with this victory, they will. The main event knows they were in a battle tonight.
If you take the main event to the limit in a tag team situation, win, lose, or draw, you have proven yourself inside the squared circle. Duke takes down Rockingham, elevates Lawless, and the gavel gets spiked, and that'll do it.
In the time of 13 minutes, 55 seconds, your winners. Advancing to the semifinal round of the tournament, the main event.
Gentlemen, March 2nd, we will see the main event and the Grindhouse. But tonight, we saw a hell of an effort from #Privilege.
We saw the main event taken to the limit tonight.
I'm going to say it right now. The best tag team in Pittsburgh could be the very first Rise Tag Team Champions.
Like I stated earlier, it is my honest opinion that the winner of this match will make it to the finals. And I'm calling it right now, that's the main event.
The main event, quite simply, tag team perfection. Undefeated, nearly 25 months in the making.